Hey everyone, happy Monday. Welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Janelle. Yes, I was right. It's Janelle. I'm just going to read her question. So she says, I've had an issue for years of being obsessed with someone. I do end up letting them go, but then I always find someone new to obsess over and want attention from. I'm very familiar with the three principles, so I know this is just my thinking about the person, but why can't I just stop believing the thoughts leading me to obsess over them? So, Janelle, it's a great question. I love getting these questions that on the surface of it look and feel really different than maybe what other people are asking, but how when we really look even just a tiny little level beneath the surface, it's exactly the same as everything else. And that's pretty much everything. I mean, it's incredibly simple and everything makes perfect sense when we are able to just look just a little tiny bit beneath the specifics and the way that our mind gives it to us. So this thing for you of becoming obsessed with someone, and then it sounds like you kind of see through that and move on, but then eventually you kind of find someone else and obsess over them. The first thing I want to kind of point you toward is you mentioned in your question that you know what you're thinking, and you know it isn't them. On some level, you know it isn't them. Now, that doesn't mean when you're in the experience of it and all of that thinking is focused on them and your thinking is having them look so wonderful and having it all about them, that you're not going to feel that. Of course you are. Of course, we're going to get caught up in that illusion that, we're just going to get caught up in that at times. So it's again a matter of like letting the experience be what the experience is, but you knowing something else, like you seeing differently, and you do. You say it, you tell me you do. And that's the piece we want to grow. So it's like, okay, when I'm in this, yes, it looks like it's all about that person and I need to get their attention and all these things have to happen. And there's all kinds of stories and stuff happening within you, and it all absolutely looks like it's all about them. And it can't be. So we just let both be true. We just hold both. We say, okay, there's a whole experience happen and it sure looks one way, but I know otherwise. And again, and that's it, like full stop. That doesn't mean because you know otherwise, that doesn't mean that the feeling's going to go away. You're going to suddenly find them unattractive. You're going to suddenly not care how they think. You're going to, like, it doesn't mean anything. So your mind might still be completely going, on all these feelings and all this stuff, and it all looks like it's about them. That's just its own thing. That's independent. We have two independent things here. So your mind's going where it's going, creating what it's creating, attaching it to whomever it's attaching it to. Fine. That's your experience. That's at your psychological level. That's not you. That's not Janelle that really thinks that person's amazing or any of that. That's not Janelle. That's your mind. That's the habit. That's the place your mind goes habitually, right? And it creates this gigantic thing, this illusion, this whole experience that looks and feels absolutely real. That may not change. But what can change is this independent little guy over here. So over here is the part that knows better. This is you saying, oh, I see that this happens all the time. Just the fact that you can say, and you can, in your question, you say it, that this happens a lot, this will happen again. Or, oh, this is happening again, like it's always going to look and feel unique when we're in it, but then we can always have that ability to step back and see the bigger picture. And it's like our mind just goes in a place over and over and over. When our mind's in that place, it's brought to life and we're in it. But we can still know something about that, we can still be in it and at the same time know, okay, I see what's going on here. And I know, I think from what you say in your question and the way that you phrase it and that you're familiar with this understanding, that you see that on some level. And I think a lot of people listening probably do because, you guys are kind of onto this as well. But where we can kind of get stuck sometimes is when we innocently and sometimes unknowingly expect that to translate. Like we expect that to show up in a certain way. Like, oh, I'm not going to get obsessed anymore, or I'm just going to see through this, or any of those things. again, it doesn't necessarily happen that way. It may be that that obsession's running, but you're just paying so much less attention to it because you know, oh, that's the obsession running. Like the second we're at, oh, that's the obsession running, you're not that deep in it. You're still feeling it. It's still brought to life in the same way, but you are not lost in it. Not even close. There is no stuckness, lostness in it. And that's where we want to keep looking. I don't care what experience shows up. It can show up, it can feel totally obsessed, whatever, but there's that one little foothold we have in the truth. So you're feeling all this stuff, but I know as long as you have a little bit of like a foothold in this truth and you know what's going on, this obsession's not gonna be the way it would be if you didn't know any of that. You're going to be far less likely to act on it and do things. And, you might do some stuff, say some stuff, I don't know, like whatever, but you're onto it. You're not completely duped at all. And that's an awesome place to be, because when we're like that, when we have a foot in both sides and we keep looking toward the truth, we keep knowing that truth is there, this just grows so much more. I love what Michelle's saying. She says, I love remembering that we can always come back to the same thing. Inside, there's always this calmer, deeper knowing within us. I mean, it's it. We come to know, and you know this so well, Janelle, it's so clear from your question. Yeah, my mind goes into obsessions. My mind does this. Again, we can sub in anybody's thing where anyone's mind goes. My mind goes to worry. My mind goes to shopping too much. My mind goes to drinking or eating or wherever it goes. Like, that's just where our mind goes. But there's always this calmer, deeper knowing within us. And that's where we just want to keep looking. And it gets so that our experience just doesn't matter so much anymore. And I know that's a weird way to say it, and it doesn't always sit well with people. It's not that we see it as this real experience and we dismiss it or anything like that. Like, you just see it for what it is. It's an experience. It's not that meaningful. It's not that big a deal. It's not about the person you're obsessed with, as you know. It's not about you. It's just where your mind goes and where we get caught up. And that's always moving, always changing, always self-correcting. And that calmer, wiser us is always there waiting for us. So thank you, Janelle, for this excellent question. Great opportunity, again, to look at these super simple truths in all kinds of areas in life, all kinds of issues. This has nothing to do with me, but I know you could give me anything. Any of you could give me anything, and we can point to these truths and see it in there. And that just says something about how we work and how simple we are, how all alike we all are, all one we all are. And when we start looking more toward that, life gets so much simpler. So thank you so much for your questions. Send them to AskAmy at littleschoolofbigchange.com, and I'll see you back here next Monday.